Oh, hey. You just caught me having a very natural and not at all forced nap here on this thing that I built with my own soft office worker hands. If you would like, you can watch how I did it. I'm just going to go back to bed. Welcome back to this episode of You're an Office Worker, Not a Woodworker. I'm in the middle of building a workbench because this table saw is just propped up on a old chest of drawers that I found on the side of the street, and that doesn't sound very professional to me. So these are the 4x4 legs. We've notched out the parts here at the top where the side supports are going to go. Give it a little layout. I'm sick of this thing just taking ages, so I'm going to try and start screwing it together and we'll see how we go. This might be a terrible idea, but I'm just stuck in indecision. And I'm designing as I go, which is a bad idea. Alright, nice. I'm looking more and more like a woodworker by the minute. Erase that bit. So I've got these parts attached to these parts. These are the 6 legs. The saw's going to go in that corner there, and then this is all going to be the top. I've cut out these bad Larrys, and I'm just going to toenail, is that the word? Toenail them in? I don't think that is the word. I'm going to screw them in, and then I will have the width that I want. Let's do it. Who needs a pocket hole, Jake? Literally. Not me. Gonna do a quick tidy up. It's a mess. I'm just measuring the height that the table saw is from base to top of this table so that I can figure out how high I need the shelf to be inside for the saw to sit on. So I've used this excess block here and just stood it on the edge with a little square clamp to it to reference the table, and drawing a line right here under there. So this is the height of the table, and then I can go over here and use this height to figure out how high I want the shelf to be. 1/4 of an inch, so 12 3/4 plus 3/4 gets me to 13 and a half. Let's use the old pencil and speed square. Right, this has worked out pretty nice. Yeah, this is perfect. This is perfect. So I want this to be 3/4 of an inch proud. I want it to be 3/4 proud, which it would be at that point. That's where I want it to be. So yeah, let's just less than 3/4. Right, I've got the measurement. 20 inches and 1/16 and a little bit. I should probably move to metric, but there is something convenient about inches. I don't know why. I mean, times like this, it seems absurd. I'm going to mount the top of these pieces, 20 inches and 1/16 and a tiny bit from the bottom. And that will hold the next sheet of ply underneath it, which will act as a shelf and also a stand for the table saw. You get the speed square, and butt it up against this side. We line it up against the point of that mark and draw a line.
Sight. The office worker attempts manual labor, lifting the wooden frame he has constructed by his hand, straining his little office worker fingers. Just look at the red face and perspiration. It's so adorable to see him try.
Next step was just to use the track saw, or the plunge saw, as I think we call it here in England, to cut out a recess for the table saw to poke out of. I'm going to explain a little bit more about how the track saw works in a bit. But whether you use a track saw or a circular saw, the circle blade can't cut right in the corners, which is why I'm using this little hand saw to finish it off and pull it out. It's pretty satisfying. Well, I didn't die, so that's good. It's a new day, and as you can see, I've laid this thing out. It's still a little wobbly. This top is just balanced at the moment. But we got the frame from last night. Today's job is to put these side brace pieces on, down here and over here. And then a little bit more bracing in that middle, because that's obviously too big of a span to just go unsupported. We're going to get this thing finished up. Let's do this. If ever there was a time to measure twice, cut once, it's now. This is the full sheet of 3/4 inch ply that's going underneath as the shelf. I'm cutting it down to rest on these side pieces and all of these middle thing pieces. Technical term. So I've just measured 3 times and we're doing 38.5 width. And this is where the track saw comes in. So enter track saw. Look at that. Remember what I was saying about precision and about how you think you can get away without being super precise? Well, this is one of those. This tool is an example of why. A track saw you would think would be unnecessary. A lot of people on YouTube say you can just use a cheaper circular saw and a straight edge and just clamp it against and sort of butt the edge up against the straight edge and run it along. Being cheap like I am, I did that at first, and I just find that the edge that you create isn't perfect. It's not perfectly parallel, and it's also not perfectly square. I borrowed a friend's Festool track saw. Hey Bryce, thanks for that, buddy. He has an incredible business in LA, building custom tree houses and all kinds of other woodworking. So you should check him out. His Instagram handle is @RyanSWoodworking. Anyway, when I was building my table, I borrowed his track saw, and I was amazed at how precise those tools are. This is a much cheaper one. These rails I bought separately from Amazon. They are Evolution rails. And track saw is a Triton brand. They look the same because they're both the same color, but they're different brands, and I bought them separately. And they've been pretty good. I mean, they're not Festool, but I think combined it was less than £200 to get both of them. I'm going to connect these these little bars here, and then I'm going to rip down a bit of the width and then cut this side down, and then we'll slide it underneath the shelf. I may have spoken too soon about this track. See if I can show you what I mean. So this might look super gappy. But I just ran it against the factory edge of the plywood, and in order to get it straight, this is how it's straight. So I mean, something's wrong there, isn't it? Whoa.
It did wobble a little bit.
That's because I've not screwed this part around. Whoa. Whoa. Right, that's enough of that. Almost done with this top. I'm just cutting a block here after being rudely interrupted by my dear wife. Cutting a block here to support one of those corners just to the right of the table saw. Using an offcut of the plywood to draw a straight line and drilling it through into the frame. There's a few things going on here. That little white piece of melamine I'm using to slide over the table saw edge just to see if it's catching any lips. And it was, so it needed to go on a little shim there. And then it's router time. This tool terrifies me, but I needed to use a straight bit to cut out some recesses for the mitre slots to slide through when I'm using that, what's it called? Mitre sled? Crosscut sled, the crosscut sled I made in the first video, so that it can slide all the way through. And then I decided, after a little caress of the table, decided that some of this black vinyl would be a good idea. Now, right now it does not look like a good idea. Right now it is a jumbled mess. But it worked. It got tangled up, but you know, you pull it apart, and you give it a little go, and eventually it went down really smooth. Hopefully this is going to be resistant to wood glue and also just look a bit nicer in the videos. And whilst I didn't really know what I was doing, it worked in the end. And here is the finished thing. Now, I know, this piano music is a bit rich for some shaky iPhone footage of a mediocre workbench in my garage. But for me, this workbench is more than a workbench. I'm hoping to turn this into a business that serves my family, and this feels like the start line. This could very easily turn into a man cave where I, escape from the wife and the kids. But I don't want that. I want it to be a place where my 4 little shadows make memories with their dad. where they dance on the workbench that they help me make, where they can look me in the eye and learn the power of taking action. Listen, my kids are always watching me. They don't go to school, as my patient wife home educates them, so they see everything we do. And as scary as that is, I love that responsibility. They heard Mum dream about a solid wood dining table that we couldn't afford. They saw me design a little cardboard model of what she wanted. They watched me come back from a lumberyard in California with $600 worth of American ash planks, even though I had no clue what I was doing. They watched me do an absolutely horrible job in our garage with the cheapest table saw I could find on Facebook Marketplace. And then it sort of just came together. It had a few gaps and burn marks, but I fixed them and then it actually came out pretty good. And now, every day, they see that table as they do their schoolwork and making family memories as we share a meal together. And this workshop is my way of taking action. Showing my kids what it looks like to take a risk and invest in your future. They're going to see me work hard in my office job during the day and then work hard in this workshop in the evenings. And I get to do it with them by my side, learning the whole time. Hopefully they'll see me build, design and sell loads of dining tables in here for families like ours across the UK. But more than that, I hope my kids will see me say yes to action, even if I am a clueless office worker. Who knows? Maybe one day, thanks to what I build on this workbench, I'll even become a real woodworker.